Mike Taylor Live is presented by Texas Cheer Liquor. Live from San Antonio,
Yes,
Mike
sir.
Taylor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you boys doing? We're back again. It is Wednesday night, and it is Taylor time. Back up in your stuff. Hello and greetings, and we are doing a deal here. It is mid-December when we record this show tonight, and we're here for the babies of the Salvation Army in the great city of San Antonio, Texas. It is Mike Taylor Live, presented by Texas Cheer Liquor, and by JM Pool and Spa, and by R&R Auto Glass, and the biggest Pumas here, Sam Freese, along with our technical man, DJ LG, tank ticket number 3 and 5, I want to say. And we've got our YouTube show back up and rolling. You can subscribe to this thing for absolutely free, as always. You can smash that like button and make us look good, as always, and you can participate in our chat. You can do the super chat. Just give us a short little tip, and you can also jump in and give us a whole bunch of coffee if you go to buymeacoffee.com/Mike Taylor Live. And you can go on there and keep us employed in 2K22 and beyond as we wind down this year. And as always, you can chat regularly on the right-hand side, too, if you're cheap. But we don't want cheap people tonight, Puma. We're here to raise money. So most of our...
Not for us, for once.
Correct. Well, I mean, but that's why I set it up by saying we can do this chat and do the buy me a coffee and that kind of thing. Shoot us a tip if you want to. But what I was going to say was... we're on here to raise money for the kids, too, tonight. This is a telethon. It's going to be a 2-week extravaganza because I think tonight, well, we'll see how it goes, you know, and it's that time of the year where if we get 50 people watching this thing live tonight, I'll be happy as hell. One of those shows that it'll get posted when we record this thing, and then it'll wind up being out there in the YouTube ether. But we're hoping to get some live participation tonight, like unusually. So... and this might wind up being, it's going to be a two-week deal. Tonight, we're going to set the bid up, try to get people to go ahead and try to get under their heartstrings, try to make them feel guilty, try to get them right with the Lord, and set up pledges. And then maybe next week do the payoffs. Although, it's possible that you dictate content tonight on our show if you're able to get money in tonight and prove that you did it. So here's where we're going. And most of the people that watch this thing on a nightly basis also listen to the radio show, but I guess I'll set this up anyway because it's a different medium. Every year, our radio show raises money for the Salvation Army. 2 times a year, we do the big barbecue in the summer, which this year it's going to be in April, on April the 1st. That's not an April Fool's joke. It really is going to be April 1 to get y'all out of the heat this year, which will be good. I think we'll all be happy if we did that. And also every December, I participate in the Red Kettle campaign for the local Salvation Army of San Antonio, Texas, in which we put money into the Red Kettle. I physically have a Red Kettle. I don't have it on me tonight. I should have went and got it. But I have a Red Kettle that I do a couple of appearances with, and they always have it on display for me out at La Cantera Mall in San Antonio. But they also, you can digitally donate to the Kettle online by going to the Salvation Army San Antonio website and donating money into the Red Kettle. Every year we kick ass. Every year as an individual, my show, the radio show, winds up outdoing all of the other individuals. We normally are the overall champion. Last year we got beat by News 4 in San Antonio. But on it, that was getting beat by Sinclair. That wasn't one guy. It wasn't like, who the hell's even, it wasn't like Don Harris or David Chancellor himself beat us individually. We got beat last year by Channel 4, the entire station. So as far as we're just a little individual AM Ding Dong radio show. And I'm proud that we were in second place last year. So the last 4 years, we've gone first place, second place. And it's usually us, and we're clumped in the top 5 with a bunch of big-ass companies and corporations. But as far as all the other individuals go, we always smoke them. And this year's been no different. We are going to run away with the individual most money ran for the Salvation Army. And we're in the process of doing that now thanks to so many of the Thunderdomers that have already donated money. And one of the real cool bits we came up with a couple of years ago in order to raise a lot of money at once is we allow you to dictate content, which goes against every fiber of my body, to allow the listeners, and in this case tonight, the viewers, to dictate the content. I don't go to Red Lobster and cook that shit myself. You come watch my show, I'm going to do the cooking. I'm going to come up with the content, except for this time of the year, because this is the one time of the year where we'll take requests. And the reason we do it is because we raise money for the kids of the Salvation Army. Back to the Red Kettle. If you put $40 into the Red Kettle, it doesn't have to be physically. It can be digitally by going to the Salvation Army's website, the local San Antonio website, clicking on the Red Kettle button icon, and then looking for me, and then donate the $40. You can tell us whatever content you want us to do. So here's what I thought we would do since we're now doing a YouTube show this year. I'm going to need you boys' help on this. How do we go about, because on the radio show, what you do is that they'll go on there, put the $40 in, Salvation Army makes a record of it, sends them an online digital receipt, and they're required to take a screenshot and then email it to me or tweet it to me or whatever to prove, oh, there you go, 5 copies. Thank you, Kettle, Mexico. Normally what they do is they'll take a screenshot of the receipt to prove that they put the $40 into the kettle. Then you get to tell me what is the topic you want us to do. And it's probably 3 or 4 days after that all takes place that Puma and I wind up getting to the topic. I'm going to try something tonight, and I hope you got content because this could be totally failed.
Well, I'm sending LG Mike Leach clips right now as we speak. Just in case.
Are we allowed to run them?
Sure.
Okay. Because we get in trouble every time we run anything, it seems. And we don't wind up making any money on it because we break the rules. But anyway.
No way.
So here's what I think we'll do. I'm gonna try to pull at your heartstrings, and we'll play a dead guy's audio to even pull at the heartstrings even further in trying to raise money for the kids. So it could be that we have a lot of pledges tonight, but we don't get to the topics until next Wednesday. That makes sense? Because we're raising money for the Salvation Army until Christmas Eve. So we've got a couple of weeks to play with here.
Oh, yeah. We need to capitalize on the time we have left.
Correct.
Like, I think today is a good table setter, and let's try to get some in today and promote the hell out of this. So next Wednesday, we're really getting them rolling.
Right. So what I want to do tonight is set up the bit, get a bunch of you boys to pledge, and then in the ensuing couple of days here, send me screenshots on Twitter or email or whatever to prove that you put the money in, and tell me what is the topic you want us to do on the YouTube show, right? We always get a lot of people that donate, and they get us doing characters, and we talk about different segments. We had effing Dave South doing Dallas Stars hockey last night on the radio show.
So unstable.
It's whatever you want. It could be the fake Oscar de la Hoya talking about cooking. It can be just a generic segment on the NBA. Whatever. The sky's the limit. The sillier, the better, because it makes for better radio when we have to get taken out of our comfort zones and do shit like that. Like talking stuff we don't normally talk about. The cool part about people that donate to the Kettle via the YouTube show, though, you get to see us in character, you know? You get to see fake Oscar de la Hoya. It's different when you see me do it. It's different when I'm on here showing my ass, and you can really actually see my nipples when I do this.
Because that's exactly what he does. When Oscar joins us on the radio show, that's exactly what it looks like. That's exactly the shirt.
I'm a champion. I'll fight anybody, and I've been doing coke all day, and I'm rubbing my nipple.
You chose to do that right as I was taking a big old drink of tequila. I almost spit it all over.
The thing is
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah. Crisis avoided.
The reason, Puma's right. When I'm in doing stupid characters on the radio show, I get really animated in the room because it helps me stay in character.
It's the same way, when when Jimbo or Alex Jones walk into the room, you gotta get real big. You gotta do whatever it makes that makes you feel like you're doing it, like you are that person.
So this is an opportunity, like maybe DeLoss Dodge is in here talking. Hey. I got my phone turned. Hang on, it's my twins. Hang on. Hey, twins. I'm doing a YouTube show. What are y'all doing?
I'm sure 10-year-olds appreciated the lost dogs.
Oh, you call me with your pinky? Let me call you when I get off the air, okay?
Okay.
Okay. How are you doing?
Good.
Okay. What'd you eat for dinner?
We had fish, beans, and corn.
Okay. Very nutritious. Are you having dessert?
What?
Are you having any dessert?
Yeah, we had ice cream.
Spoil rotten over there. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Let me call you back when I get off the air, dear.
Okay.
Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Love you. Okay, cool.
Fish, beans, and corn.
Fish, beans, and corn.
We had fish, beans, and corn.
You can take the Texan
Hi,
out of
y'all.
You can take the Texan out of Texas, but you can't take the Texas out of the Texan. Anyway. So let's say the Lost Dodds is in here doing characters. You can actually see us do the payoffs, and whatever, So this is a chance for you to donate money to the same kettle, to raise money for our kettle, but you get to watch us do the payoffs. That might be kind of cool. So jump in here and give us a $40 donation. Now, you can give us $1,000 if you want. Whatever 1,000 is divided by 40, that's how many topics you get to dictate. So that's what we'll do. And I'm hoping we get a lot. I'm hoping that we're still doing stupid bits like this. I hope we're still doing this in late January because we get a lot of donations. So jump on here now. By the way, I'm not even sure I've talked to LG about this. We're going to do a Red Kettle appearance at Super Walmart on Wednesday, December 21st. And Frank Harris is going to come out and hang out with us. He's agreed to come ring the kettle with me in Puma. And I was thinking it might be a cool time to come do like a 5-minute video interview with Frank for this show, if you're down with that.
When is this?
Wednesday, the 21st, from 11 to 1 a.m. to p.m.
Look at my calendar.
Okay,
I love
11
that
a.m. to
you're-
1 p.m.
You're first hearing about this live on the show.
puts
here.
pressure on him to do
does.
it.
It
Yeah.
absolutely does. Because, you can't just throw out there, oh, yeah, I'll get back to you.
Right,
Yeah,
unless
yeah,
he's in
let me-
Zimbabwe.
Well, we're doing a show that day anyway, aren't we?
Right.
That night.
Yeah. So we can have Frank on that. We'll talk to Frank that day out in front of the Walmart. We'll do a bit with Frank, and
The
then we can
Walmarts.
run it that night.
The
On
Walmart
the show.
Super Centers.
That makes sense.
Which one? Where location?
I-10 and Days of Allah.
Oh, all right. The Walmart, huh?
So many unnecessary questions.
Walmart Super Center.
Yeah.
The Walmart, huh?
So
I'm
me
just
and
gonna.
Puma.
There was a comment there. I'm just gonna.
All right. So me, Puma, and DJ LG and Frank Harris, one of the best quarterback in town, will be out at the Walmart Super Center on the 21st raising money for the kettle. But why wait till then? Let's get started tonight. So how do you want to do this?
That's
Jump
the
into
bigger
the
question.
jump into the chat right now. Right now we have all of 2 people in there.
Oh, no.
Jump on there. It's the holidays. I was worried about viewership going down. And give us a pledge. And I'll you know what? I'll promote this gag on the radio show too tomorrow and the next day. If you want to watch us pay off bits, you can like tomorrow, I think on the radio show, what I'll say is, all right, keep doing the same bit. Do you want us to do it on the air, on the radio, or on the YouTube show so you can watch us do the bit?
Yeah, that's a good
Okay,
bit. Have them
yeah.
specify which one.
Yeah, so I know we'll get more traction on radio because obviously when we record these shows on Wednesday nights, we wind up getting several hundred viewers the next day, but not everybody watches that night. They watch it the next day, so they're not even aware of this because they won't see it until tomorrow or the next day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and again, we've only got one more of these after tonight before we're totaling our kettle.
Correct. So I mean, because I will do tear jerk stories, like if that Christmas I spent in the women's shelter in '85 when my mom finally got tired of getting her ass kicked by my stepdad Ernest and finally left him for good. But the problem was we didn't have anywhere to go, and I wound up spending about 3 months, 90-ish days, in the Nueces County Women's Shelter in Corpus. And it was one of the best Christmases I ever had because them rich people were donating all that shit to the women's shelter. And I was eating 3 hots a day, still going to school, obviously, but I was getting fed great dinners and good breakfasts in the morning and in the night. The bed was comfortable in there, and I had a good time with it. I was a weird kid where even during bad times, I was this weird, quirky kid, shocking, I know, that I always wound up making an adventure out of all of our ailments. Oh, it's a domestic violence fight. Let's go jump in the car and let's go spend the night at my friend's house at 2:30 in the morning because Ernest has shoved me across the room. Cool. I just pretend I was an army man getting a midnight assignment or a fireman getting called on a fire at 2:30 in the morning. I was a weird ass kid.
Well, you created a narrative that would allow you to not be daily traumatized by some of that. I mean, I think that's
correct.
Like using the
sports.
childhood imagination and sports as the outlet to get through. The thing that always strikes me when you tell this story is, talking about where this money goes and who it directly affects. And like we say every time, sometimes with a laugh, literally every penny, stays right here in the community and to those most that need it most. But it's like you just said, she chose to leave without having a place to go. That's where this money goes. Right. And so for people where that is the right decision to make, whether you know where you're going, but the right decision is to leave. Yeah. That's where this money is going, is to filling that gap, to getting people out of those situations where they don't have to question, well, if I leave, where am I going to go? Or what am I going to do? Like, I can't leave. I don't have a place to go. I have to stay and endure another night of this, endure another episode of going through that. And that's where, that's where this money goes, is giving people being able to leave a bad situation where it's the right decision to leave, regardless of what you have lined up as the next step. And that's where every time you tell this, that's what keeps coming back to me there and always stands out is I think a lot of people don't leave because they don't know where to go or what that next step looks like. And that's why, being able to, raise money for situations just like that, it's what keeps coming back every time you tell this story.
Thank you, sir. Well, okay, so I'll give the quick version because a lot of you guys have already heard it, but this is one of a million stories, but he just always got violent with her, and I was always too little to do anything, so I just stayed in the room and just buried my head in the pillow and tried to ride the wave or play or read a book, or sometimes my mother wouldn't even know this, but I would raise the window to my bedroom and sneak out and just walk around the neighborhood and wait for an hour and figured, okay, it's got to be cooled off by now, and then sneak back in and go to bed. But one of these nights, I don't know what it was that finally triggered my mom and got her to act. She wound up calling the popo, which she must have been afraid he was going to kill her for real, because God knows my mother probably had a warrant or 4. It
wasn't easy for her to call the cops.
Yeah, you don't do that. You don't ever call the police. And Ernest was into so much shit that the odds of him going to prison if she were to call the police were pretty good, because that guy was one of the preeminent paint and body chop shop artists in the country. We lived in a lot of different cities and different states because we were running from the cops, but also because through his backwater underground dark connections, people knew that if you have a chop shop, there's a dude down in Rockport, Texas. He's the Michael Jordan of making these parts look different by painting them. He was awesome at it. You would have thought that he would have used his talent to get a legitimate job just painting cars at a straight body shop that was on the up and up. But no, it wasn't as fun as running around working for gangsters and painting up chopped up car parts.
A tortured genius, but a genius no less.
And so, he was, God knows, doing what else. He was a thief, and he was he had different, it was organized crime is what it was. He was in different rings, smuggling shit and dealing drugs, and theft rings, and they had guys that would go get jobs at different companies where the only fucking goal was to case the place and set up big robberies, And so, but for her to call the cops, she really, really had enough, because she really was finally literally afraid that he was going to off her. And so she calls the cops, and he thank God he didn't kill us all. He fled. He got the hell out of there because they were on the way. And I don't know what it was, man. They were just somehow, one of those police officers in Corpus Christi got into my mother's skin and talked her into doing the unthinkable, and that was going into a women's shelter. And I figured it would be a day or two. Wound up being at least 3 months. I don't know the exact number of days, but it was a good chunk of the late fall, early winter, 1985. And I remember sitting there in a women's shelter watching the Royals win the Royals beat the Cardinals in the World Series. And I watched every inning, man, every pitch of the 85 World Series at the Nueces County Women's Shelter. And it was funny because they had counselors and stuff. Michael, do you want to talk about what happened? Nah, I really just want to watch the Royals.
Want to watch baseball?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to do? No, I'd rather just go out back and shoot hoops, because they had a full-length basketball court, big ass television, which was probably state of the art for those days. They had big ass room full of toys and Play-Doh, and I was fine. My therapy was sports and make believe, so it was fine to me at the time. And again, I was good at taking myself out of the reality of a situation and just kind of disappearing into my own head. Thank God for good. And so that's it. That's a long story. But eventually my grandmother came down to Corpus, picked us up. We went over, it was about 3 months later, and my mom needed to get stuff that she had left at the house. We didn't even know if the house would be abandoned. Would he even still be living there? She probably called him a couple of times, God knows. And so we're talking 3-ish months after I'd been living in the shelter, and my grandma shows up to get us, but my mom needed to go get all of our clothes, and we still had our stuff at the house after all that time. And so we get there, and sure enough, Ernest shows up while we're there packing our stuff, and I was scared. I was scared of that bastard. When I found out that, I'm like, oh, wait, y'all want to go to the house? No, what if he's there? And they assured me, no, we'll hang out at the corner, make sure his car's not in the lot, and if his car's not in the driveway, we'll go in. So he wasn't there, but I was still scared shitless. It's like, what if he comes home? What if he comes back while you guys are here? So just hurry the fuck up, I didn't even care. I was willing to leave all of my stuff behind, Star Wars toys and clothes and whatever. I was scared to death he was going to show up, and sure enough, the fucking guy shows up while we're there. I was so pissed off at my mom and my grandma for dilly-dally. What do you want to get in? You want this guy to come home and kill us? But little did I know, my grandmother had a baseball bat in the trunk of her car, and I guess had put it in the corner of like the front room while they were packing. And so he pulls up the driveway, and I'm scared to death. My grandmother grabs the bat, waits behind the front door. He opens the door, and as soon as he opens it, she whacks him in the face with a baseball bat. And then she told him, I got a gun too, bitch, or something like that, which she did not. She just trying to scare him, and he, thank God, left. So we got our shit and got the hell out of there. I didn't see him for 2 more years. Anyway, and I'm not trying to glorify any of that. It's so many years ago, and, now looking back, it's silly and whatever, was funny. Not at the time. That I was actually really, really scared that day. But that's what I went through, and so I think it was that and a lot of other shit that I went through as a kid where I just finally made the decision that as I get older, if I'm ever lucky enough to be able to either give back myself monetarily to kids that have no control on what their fucking parents are doing, not to blame any parents for anything that goes on now, but, every situation's its own. The bottom line is that kids suffer through stuff that they have zero control over because of the life that their parents are undergoing. And so I just made it a pact that night or in those subsequent days that if I ever have the money, that I was going to give back to kids that needed it, or I was at least going to help somebody give back to kids that needed it, which is why my blue cussing, pagan, no church going ass all these years later, I have partnered with the Salvation Army for the last several years, and I don't know if they are able to tally up how much the Thunderdome and we have raised total since we started doing this stuff.
Surely we could get that number.
It's a bunch, man. And this year's been no exception. So that's a long way of saying.
And we got one just now, actually.
Oh, we did.
And
We
it updated.
It always
Oh,
works.
good. How much? We got a pledge or we got an
That's right.
updated number?
You see it on your screen?
It's kind of blurry,
It
Lawrence.
says Taylor, Reyes De Leon donated $40. It says, I want to be the sponsor of Puma's 2022 drop-off on the radio show.
Okay.
Don't know what that is, but
you know what that is?
all I ask is that you play the Foam Foot 420 drop to start and end the segment.
Yeah, that's
Okay. He wants a radio show.
Yeah, what we've been doing the last few
So
years.
it does
of-
update on here instantly because he just
Oh,
did
okay,
that 4
cool.
minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Unless he donated that like today.
Oh, and I found it too. I can see it too.
All
If I
right,
go to the
good.
link.
Oh,
okay,
good.
very good. I want to sponsor Puma's 2022 drop off on the radio show. Oh, he wants a drop off.
Yeah, like we've
He
been
wants you to
doing the
come up-
last
yeah,
couple
he wants
years.
you to come up
yeah.
with like the top 20 drops of the year or
yeah,
whatever.
that's been a good.
Yeah. All I ask
We'll
is
do
that
that next Thursday.
and he wants Foam Foot 420 to start and end the segment. So we're dedicating the drop off segment
Foam
this
Foot
year to
420.
Foam Foot 420.
Yeah, unless that came in, unless he donated like earlier today and it's just now showing up.
No, I just said thank you for your donation at 8:53 p.m.
Yeah,
on
but-
my link.
Yeah, but I'm saying
It may have
It may have
updated.
updated
Yeah.
from earlier today.
Okay, very good. All right, cool. Very good.
I don't know. Someone do a $40 donation right now, and let's see if it updates in real time.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do the bit. Obviously, that's a radio bit, so we'll have to save it for iHeart.
Yeah, we'll save that for next Thursday.
Or we'll do anything here on the YouTube show. So that's good. And all that to say, and I always say this every year too because it rings true every year. There are kids, and thank God I was in the women's shelter during the holidays because we were out of school. There are kids in this town in San Antonio, Texas in 2022 that while they may be happy to have the 2 weeks off at Christmas, that also means they might not get to eat 3 times that day. They may be eating only 1 time that day, or they're eating crap and just, 59-cent Taco Bell every damn night because their mom can't afford it for whatever reason. And who cares what situation parents are in? The facts are kids are suffering. There are kids that are better off being in school year round. So they'll, get to eat every day consistently. And so there are kids right now living at the Salvation Army shelter. And that goes, I'll put a bow on this story. I know what it's like to be a kid living in the Salvation Army shelter because I was one of those kids. I was a kid where we're not going to get much for Christmas if it weren't for, us getting adopted by Angel Tree, which happened 2 times in a row in the mid-'80s, and all of a sudden some rich dude shows up in an IROC Z, and he's got a bunch of presents and stuff in the back of his car because we got adopted, and he was the guy that got to bring us the stuff. And it weren't for the dude in the IROC Z. I don't know if it's an IROC Z.
No, it's an IROC Z.
I needed an 80s car reference.
Yeah, it's absolutely the IROC Z with Eddie Van Halen just shredding in the stereo system.
Nice
Yeah,
T-tops.
with
Poison.
the T-tops. Exactly.
Poison.
Oh, it's got to have T-tops. Yeah.
Oh, well, you're not. I don't want your stupid gifts if you don't have a T-top.
Two-tone with cream on the bottom. Yeah, no question. Yeah.
So I know what it's like to live in a shelter. I know what it's like to be given presents by strangers.
We're all having a little fun here.
We're having fun. So that's it. That's the reason I do this. And it's not just because someone gave to me. I genuinely do care, thank God. So, so that's it. That's why we do the bit. I didn't mean to get so long-winded, but you know how I do. So that's it. All right, you want to do some Mike Leach talk?
Yeah, we've still somehow.
I got to do some live spots, though.
Yeah,
probably.
burn those.
Okay, well, let me reset. This is Mike Taylor Live, presented by Texas Cheer Liquor. Texas Cheer Liquor's got 9 locations. Mr. Singh, you want to pay for a segment or two? I know obviously we wouldn't be here without you, Holmes, but I'm down. Maybe somebody can, maybe Mr. Singh can tell his story or something. Like he's camera shy though. Whoever. Just know that when you go get liquor in this town, because there's 9 of them now, no doubt there's one near you, no matter where you live. If you are in this area, in the greater SA area, there's going to be a Texas Cheer Liquor near you. Most of them even have full humidors in there, so if you're a cigar smoker, they've got kick-ass cigars. So whether you need beer, liquor, wine, vodka, whatever it is that floats your boat, you can bet your ass they got a sweet hookup at Texas Cheer Liquor, and mention Thunderdome because they love to hear from Thunderdome because they are Thunderdome. Thank you to Texas Cheer. All right, show also brought to you by JM Pool and Spa. I want to shout out to George. I'm supposed to be a guest with George on Stuck Nut Radio, his show, that on his radio network that they formed. And they've been doing it all these years. I've been telling him, okay, because I couldn't go last week and I was supposed to.
Yeah, that's what
sucks. I was coming back. I've been traveling. I was tired, blah, blah, blah. I had flown all night from Hawaii with kids and I overbooked. So I owe him a show and I vowed to make it hot. I'm going to spill the beans on all the drama that I've gone through this year, professionally speaking.
Yeah.
See if we can stir it up.
That's going to be hot. That's gonna be hotter than the first segment of the radio show was today.
It might be. And I was pretty mad. I was doing some yelling today in the first segment. But anyway, shout out to George of JM Pool and Spa. When he ain't doing radio shows, he is cleaning pools and cleaning spas, and he's keeping things up to speed and making sure that the ever-changing Texas weather doesn't make it impossible for you to use your hot tub, or in the fall or in the summertime your pool, because he keeps that stuff clean. He makes sure that it's fine. Most people can clean their own pool, but it takes a hell of a lot to keep algae out of there and all of the soot and crap that falls out of the trees. So it's fun to have a pool and a spa, but sucks to have to keep it up, and that's where George comes in. And the family-owned and operated JM Pool and Spa, they will come and keep your pool ready-made for you to get in, whether it's your pool of the summer or your hot tub in the wintertime. All right. We lost the captain this week, which totally sucks, and we've been having a lot of fun on the radio show these last couple of days, playing a bunch of Leach audio. Did you want to play any of his video tonight? Are we allowed to do that? What's your plan?
Well, I mean, it's always LG
We can apologize
me
later.
What we're allowed to do. I mean, I definitely sent. Well, first of all, maybe we need to start with the first video I sent LG.
All right. Is this the Patriot Barbie?
That's correct. Are any of y'all familiar with Patriot Barbie?
No.
Okay, she's
dressed up like Donald Trump or
pretty much.
Yeah, no,
she has a massive. She's a Instagram influencer, a conservative influencer on Instagram.
Oh, okay. I think I have. Okay, I'm vaguely familiar. I think.
Yeah, and this is again one of the as we sit here on the week where we had literally FBI labeled domestic terrorists protesting in our downtown. Based on misinformation spread online. This is another example of the citizen activism that's taking place across our country, especially at school board meetings.
Oh God!
School board meetings are the new war zone. That is the new, and I think
because
about
the left's out to
indoctrinate
have sex
kids
with your kids,
groom kids.
Yeah,
exactly.
Turn them into socialists.
Apparently, are any of y'all familiar with what are they called? The animal
aardvark.
No,
Beaver.
Furries.
Cat.
Like the furry culture. Identifying as animals, just taking it to the full extreme. So this chick literally went to a.
Is this not Mike Leach related?
No.
Oh,
this
okay.
one
My
is
bad.
just.
My bad.
Yeah, no. That's the first one I sent. The Leach one I sent is. Two more of the classics of Halloween candy and wedding planning. The other two we hadn't got to, but I thought Patriot Barbie at a school board meeting.
Sure, having fun.
All right, how do I pull this up? What's going on Twitter?
I'm a cat. Great. Hello, my name is Lindsey Graham, and I am a cat. Meow, meow.
Lindsey Graham.
I'm not a woman dressed as a cat. I am a cat. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe and confess that I'm a cat? Great. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe that your child or a child from this school would believe that I'm actually a cat? No one. You are right. Truth prevails over imagination. Reality exists. Discernment is innate and something we are biologically wired to have. One look at me and you know this to be true. I am a woman posing as a cat.
Wait for the payoff.
Yes, it's Lindsey Graham there, otherwise known as Patriot Barbie on Instagram, posing as the cat lady to prove a point.
This is what we're having to cover now
Hello, my
as
name is
journalists
Lindsey
in
Graham, and
America.
I am
Like
a
this
cat.
is no, I know, but I'm
Meow,
saying
meow.
like this
I'm not
is
a woman
literally
dressed as-
what's being covered by local journalism.
So let me guess. Newsmax is pretending that there are 40 million kids
it's
posing as
based-
cats.
Correct. Yeah, and
Schools are allowing them to bring kitty litter boxes.
that's correct. Yeah, it's a misinformation online rumor of schools bending to the will of woke activists and installing kitty litter boxes in the restrooms at schools.
There was not one fucking school doing that. Not one.
Or maybe there was one, but you know what? There's 3,200 school districts in the state of Texas.
Alone.
Like alone. Like, so if there's one out of all the ones across this country, maybe just penalize or hold the one school district accountable instead of making it a massive conspiracy that spreads like wildfire.
Okay, fine. I said there's none. I'll tell you this. There's less schools accepting kids as cats than we've had plane crashes in this country this year.
Yes, absolutely.
Of commercial
That's
jet
fair.
airliners. Yeah.
That feels extremely fair to
outrageous.
say. But yeah, no, I figured on the
How do people talk themselves? You know what? It's because people can't handle social media.
well, and it also
We need
it gets the attention. Yeah, it's all attention based.
She knows she's full of shit. She just wanted to dress up like a cat, make TV, and get on Newsmax. There's no way she thinks that either.
God, no.
No way. She
No.
doesn't think that. She's full of shit.
Yeah, again, it all goes back to the self-projection of half the people protesting the things that they've been told are happening, that there's no actual factual evidence of. No, the other ones are, LG, you got the other two I sent you?
Yeah.
The other two are just more classic Mike Leach. And
All
this
right.
is,
Fun with Mike.
this one is the Halloween candy one, I think, and his obsession with Haribo.
We talked about on the broadcast how you hate candy corn. What's your favorite Halloween
Candy
candy?
corn. I mean, I completely hate candy corn.
Completely
when I
hate
was a
candy
kid, well,
corn.
gummy bears. Let's see. Gummy bears for sure.
Sour or regular?
The Haribo. It's got to be the Haribo.
Haribo,
ones.
gotta be the
And then,
Haribo.
the other thing I like is when they used to have the sprees in a box. Outstanding. You have to go to the dollar store to find it, but I do. And then
It's
the
so
latest.
It looks the kind of
rural
candy
white
I like.
trash. It's
There's
so
still candy
great.
innovation, although a while back I found that Europe had better candy than we did overall, because they have gummy everything. And then
Big fan of the gummies,
The
so to speak.
you know, they have those nerds clusters, which is new.
The gummy.
Yeah, which is good. The nerds clusters is good. And then if you go chocolate, probably almond joy.
Love it. Hopefully you'll get some of that next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, we'll
This
see.
is post game rap. That's me analyzing football too.
Right. And they played a game on Halloween. She asked the two football questions and he gave 10 to 20 second answers. And then she asked a question about Halloween candy and he gave a minute-long response after a game before exiting the field.
He was so great at his deadpan that he was able to do that as if she had asked him another football question. Just dead serious, deadpan, absolutely serious tones.
To the
as
point,
if it were the most important question he's heard all year.
right. The amount of sincerity, regardless of the content of the question being asked,
And he's doing a bit.
I
think.
Yeah, exactly. That's my question. Is because
I don't think that was a bit.
see. Well, and I would be curious to hear from the people closest to him of was the Mike Leach that we got in every media representation, every media appearance? Is that if you asked him a question, because all the stories that come out, there was one that Lincoln Riley told earlier today. I think he had in an appearance in an interview he was doing, and he said it was when he was an early assistant for Mike Leach. He was sitting there in the office with Leach. They were working on some things. Leach's phone rang. He answered it. And he's like, "Hey, I got to take this." again, mind you, he said, "Hey, I got to take this."
Yeah.
He literally answers it, talks to the guy for like 40 minutes, and then Lincoln hears like, "Hey, I lost you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think you got bad reception." So Leach shuts his flip phone and then opens it back up, redials the number that had called him, calls it right back, talks to him for another half hour, and then finally hangs up.
Yeah.
Him and Lincoln are getting back to working on the offensive, strategy, the innovations they were coming up with at the time that would absolutely transformationally change the landscape of how college football is played.
Right.
And finally, Lincoln asked him, he was like, "Hey, coach, who was that called you earlier?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know. They had the wrong number." Like that's Mike Leach. Like that's his, that authenticity. And that's why like when we talk about, was it a bit or was that just the authentic, unique human that literally, like you say, had a law degree from Pepperdine and never used it a single day of his life.
Puma and I have talked about this on and off the air this week, and I think my favorite thing about Mike is, could he have gone to Bama? Sure, although I don't think Bama would have had the guts to hire a guy like that.
Yeah, but he could have gone to hire.
He could have. Mike Leach on purpose chose outlier schools. Not shitty schools, like, although he started off at Iowa Wesleyan or something. He once took a job in Finland because he wanted to see Europe. So it was a great way to go to Europe for free.
It's a great reason to take a job.
But even major college programs, they were still outliers. He went to Texas Tech. He went to
84 wins.
He went to Washington State. And even when he wound up getting an SEC job, he still went to one of the outlier schools in that school, if such a thing exists in Mississippi State.
Sure.
Because he wanted to take on that kind of quirky state school.
That
he didn't want to go to the big
mentality.
He wanted to go to the big money school.
Yep.
Yeah, that Pirates mentality. He wanted the challenge of it all because that was kind of him. He wasn't cut out to coach at Bama or UCLA. He was cut out to coach at Washington State or Texas Tech, because that's where he was probably the most comfortable, and he was probably at his absolute best, and he was absolutely a genius coach. His tree, and then all of the different branches on it, TCU alone, who's getting ready to play in the national semifinal. Sonny Dykes obviously is the son of Spike Dykes, but Sonny got his break in coaching through Mike Leach. It was Mike who helped Sonny get really rolling as a coach. And, of course, Sonny paid it forward. And so who's Sonny's offensive coordinator in the Michigan game this year? Garrett Riley, brother of Lincoln Riley. Because Garrett also went into coaching through that Tech connection from Mike Leach.
After Leach convinced Lincoln to get into coaching.
Right. And then after Lincoln got into coaching, it motivated his kid brother Garrett to go into coaching. And so if not for Mike Leach, there's no Sonny Dykes, and there's no Garrett Riley, and then there's no Max Duggan gets invited to the Heisman ceremony. The tree and the influence that Mike wound up having, we still won't know. It won't reach an end for 20 more years. It's not Popovichian, but it's as long as just about anybody, certainly that's been around these parts coaching college football. Love the guy, and I'll miss him. I'll miss the stories. It sucks, and I love Dak Prescott, and it's just given me another reason to cover Mississippi State. Not cover him, but pay attention to him, because I'm rooting for the captain.
Sure.
And the captain he hated Texas, another school where Mike Leach would have never
could have done it.
Never could have
done it. No,
because he's so not that. But he loved kicking their ass, and he loved trolling them. And it sucks they don't ever get a chance to coach against him in the SEC, but thus his life. The guy dies at 61.
Yeah.
61, man, that sucks.
Well, and, something, like we were talking about earlier before the show, the constructed challenges that he set forth for himself in his life.
Uh-huh.
Like there's something about individuals that choose the harder path in life instead of accepting the easier, less risky, or less impactful career path. And that is that's the thing that, for whatever reason, it seems to be the gravitating force that bring like Steph, the roommate, for example, like she born and raised in Lubbock, can't tell you much about any of the Tech coaches while she was there, but she remembers Mike Leach because of not because of the success. I mean, she was there for the Crab 08 catch, but doesn't remember Leach for the 84 wins or the 10 consecutive bowl appearances, but more for the weather reports on local Lubbock radio station or local Lubbock TV stations. Like, just there aren't many people that have that level of it's not creativity, but more just authenticity that are in an industry like college football.
Yeah,
like that's an industry that's built on being snake oil salesmen, convincing 16 and 17-year-old kids that you have their best interest at heart and you're going to be there for their entire 4 or 5 years at the university. And then you're gone in year 2 and you don't think twice about them. Like to see, he was authentically funny. Like, it wasn't a forced bit. It was like, there aren't many people that get into the industry of coaching that are just that authentically interesting. Like we were talking earlier, like the dude had 60 Minutes did a piece on him because he was just that interesting.
Yeah, not to say, but he's not interesting at all.
Like it's not like they weren't talking to him about his revolutionary offense. Like, yeah, it was a piece. It was a part of the piece. But they were wanting to talk to the man, Mike Leach, the human Mike Leach, the unique perspective, the rare individual, Mike Leach.
All right, Puma, something to warm your heart.
Oh, God.
So
that always makes me
some folks are by the tuner, but they're in their car. Hear that? Here, play the video for him, LG. This comes from John D'Angelo. They're out looking at Christmas lights. And here you go.
Spurs! Spurs, Daddy! They do the... Come on now, Spurs!
Come on now, Spurs!
Come on now, Spurs! Come on now, Spurs!
Come on now, Spurs!
Oh, my God. It's a whole car full.
Spurs! Spurs, Daddy!
That's awesome.
They do the... Come on now, Spurs!
They do the come on now, Spurs!
Come on now, Spurs! Come on now, Spurs! Spurs!
Oh, that's so great. That's so great.
Look at you. That just turns him into butter.
It does. It melts me. I mean, it's one thing. It's one thing. It's when I hear the kids. Yeah. That's what sends me.
No, that's a good ender, right?
That's
there.
a good one.
God dang it! All right,
good dude.
Love
Johnny.
y'all hard, man. Thanks everybody. We work hard for you. We work hard for the money. We love you hard. And we work hard for the kids in this town too. It is the kids that get under our skin, as they should. And if you want to send me, if you decide to go ahead and put the $40 in, and you want us to do the payoff on this show, send me the screenshot on email or whatever, on Twitter, DM, whatever, or send it to Puma. Just need proof you paid, and tell us, hey, we want you to do this on the YouTube show, because we'll be back on here a week from Wednesday night. All right. Thank you to R&R Auto Glass for also bringing us shows all year long. Gosh, this year's almost over.
That's
R&R.
not much left.
Right there by the airport, 281 in Tacoma. They'll take care of you with a Taylor Especial. So if you got a busted window, they don't care how you smash your windows out. Maybe you got robbed. Maybe you had a little fender bender. Maybe a rock flies up on the highway while you're riding. Maybe a bird flew into your window. Who knows? Maybe you had rough sex with your old lady in there and her ass knocked the window out. They don't care. They just want to fix it for you. And they'll give you a discount when you mention us, and they take all insurances too. So not to worry about your old lady's ass knocking out your windshield, because they take your insurance. It is family owned and operated. Pluto San Antonio's own R&R Auto Glass right there by the airport at 281 in Tacoma. All right, come on now, Spurs.
Come on now, Spurs, indeed.
All right,
Come
that's
on
it.
now, Spurs!
All right,
Find you a woman whose ass will knock the window out of your
That's
out
right.
of
You
your
ain't
truck.
lived till you fucked up
You
your
ain't
windshield
lived.
having sex.
You ain't lived till you knocked your old woman's backside through the backside of your own damn truck.
All right, we're back on this channel Sunday after Cowboys Jaguars. We get to see Sunshine, pretty boy.
Another noon kickoff,
Yeah,
too.
Sunshine. We'll see that kid, that long-haired blonde boy from Jacksonville, and we'll talk Cowboys and Jags when this is over. Our next one of these shows is a week from tonight on Wednesday, and we'll get into the telethon some more and do some payoffs. All right, thank you to DJ LG. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you to Puma. Love you hard. We'll see you later.
Come back, you puppy!
Mike Taylor Live is presented by Texas Cheer Liquor.